So my name is Juan de Lascurain. I'm originally from Mexico, and it's a crazy story. I was an athlete all my life. I started playing tennis when I was very young. I was about 7, 8 years old. Played tennis all my life. Went to the US when I was 17. Played tennis, studied business. I had no clue what I wanted to do, with my life other than sports. I studied business because I had to study something, My family was like, you need to study, so I studied business. Then I graduated from college, and I wanted to be a triathlete, professional triathlete. So I started running, competing. I found me a sponsor in the US, which changed my life. One day he told me, he said, Juan, I don't care about your sports. He said, I care that you use your talents to inspire people. And it really got stuck with me, So from there, I moved to Los Angeles. I was coaching tennis in Beverly Hills. So I was coaching celebrities in Beverly Hills. And my brother and I were coaching, but I was a little bit, tired after 4 years of coaching. And I'm like, okay, what's the next thing, I'm gonna do? And so one day I was at a friend's house. There was a napkin and a Sharpie, and I made a doodle, just like a little flower and some little lines. And a lady that was there, she was like, oh, are you an artist? And I said, no, I never painted anything, I said, I'm an athlete. And she said, you need to be an artist. And I was like, okay, I thought she was crazy, honestly. I left, and I was like, that lady's crazy. But in the back of my mind, her voice was like, you need to be an artist, paint. So a few weeks later, I went and I bought a piece of wood at Home Depot, and I bought paint at Walmart. It cost me like $20, And I painted this piece of wood, and in, I think it was a month or two, I had finished my first art piece. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, it's not so bad, And so I kept painting, every night. And when I kept painting, I suddenly started writing what I wanted to do with that talent, that I wanted to paint, but then eventually I was going to do brands, then I was going to do fashion, that my designs one day were going to be all over the world. But, it's one thing to think and to dream, and people told me, you're crazy, you're 36, you didn't go to school for this. That was the first part, the first stage of how I started, and then it gets crazier. First, it was I was hand painting, art pieces. Then I started thinking, okay, it's really hard to commercialize just art, so I'm going to do more graphic work, I forward, so this was 2008, so by 2011, from when I started, by 2011, I had no money left. I was down to $20 in my pocket. I didn't have a place to live because I was spending all my time building my art, and people were telling me like, you should quit being an artist. But I didn't care what they told me. So a friend of mine was the manager of the Apple store in Beverly Hills. And she said, come work here. And so I took a job there. I didn't want to work there, but I took a job there just to survive, for a little bit. And while I was working there, it was the time when one of the first second generation iPhones came out, the little iPhones. And so I was working there, and I bought an iPhone like a lot of people. And then one day I was playing with the phone, and I found a paint app. And I started just moving my fingers, and I was like, wow, these designs are very commercial. And so I kept painting, I painted maybe 20 designs there, and then I printed them on t-shirts. And I started wearing my own t-shirts. And then I noticed people always were like commenting, like, oh, cool design, And then another thing happened for me there. One day a guy came in and bought computers, and I asked him, where are you from? And he said, I'm from Dubai. And I asked him for his card. Well, this guy ends up being the builder of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. So I'll forward, I kept painting on my art. Then 2011 I moved to Mexico City. I go to an uncle of mine who has a lot of money, and I said, would you invest in my brand? He said no. And I said, can I stay in your house for a little bit? And he said no. And so I had no place to go, and I went and I booked a room for $5 a night downtown Mexico City, like a cheap room, And every day I went to a local Starbucks. And there I met a lady who made notebooks. And talking to her, she saw my designs, my graphic work, and she said, you need to do some notebooks with your designs. And so I made 10 notebooks with my designs. So I had t-shirts and notebooks, but very little, very small quantities. And so every day I went to the Starbucks and I put the notebooks in the table and I sold a notebook to whoever sat next to me. And then about a month later, the manager found out that I was selling inside, and I convinced her to let me sell the notebooks in the counter where people pay. It took me a little bit, and then she said yes, and that Starbucks became my first little store, gallery, and office for a year and a half. And then I saw that my graphic work attracted a lot of people. So first I started licensing my brand. So I started working, with brands like Kleenex, brands like cell phone case brands. I started doing a lot of licensing deals. And then I started also creating more and more designs for children's products, home decoration products, apparel products. So today I have over 10,000 graphic designs. Now it's been over 12 years. I have many licenses from Turkey. I've done stuff in Dubai. From the builder of the Burj Khalifa, I'm the first artist to have my work displayed at the Burj Khalifa. I can go on and on and on and on, and part of my purpose is not just to sell my art, which is one of my purposes, but my other purpose is to inspire people through my story, to follow their dreams. So as far as my different designs for different territories. So for example, in Turkey, I think like 7 years ago, I met a company there, Keskin Color, and they wanted me to do a special line of tourism designs for notebooks, but tourism designs based on Turkey, so I did that. Sometimes I have like this t-shirt, it's regular fashion. This you can sell like all over the world, but then I do specific things for specific countries. Like when I did also the design for the Burj Khalifa, the mapping, I sat with them and we created a theme, and then I developed that. So I do, for specific countries based, and also specific products, because it's not the same, to sell swimwear than to sell a notebook. All the products also change according. So I've done stuff, I think more than 15 countries now. As far as my products, there has been over, I would say, 100 licensed products, from backpacks, notebooks, t-shirts, apparel, cell phone cases, you name it. And if you think about it, from one doodle on a napkin to, now 2024 here, right now I am in Colombia, also meeting with other partners. Anyway, it's amazing when you follow your dreams. My suggestion to newcomers, obviously there's going to be people that tell you you're not good, there's so many people, everybody wants to do the same thing, but I would say first, find your DNA. Don't try to copy, because a lot of people try to see what's successful and they try to copy it and change a little bit. And when you do that, you're still a copy, even though if you change a little bit. People now copy me, and I found some of my stuff that they change a little bit. So first I would say find your DNA, like work on your DNA, like your originality, and that only comes through practice. Like it's like a sport, when I did sports, you just train. It's the same in art. You cannot expect to be really, really good or find your DNA by just doing 5 minutes a day, And then second, the world is really small. I started taking flights, investing in myself when I had nothing, even when I had just very little money. I started with a credit card with $500 back then. After I got out of the $5 a night hotel, then I got $500 on a credit card, and I used that for notebooks and to print my notebooks. I found where to sell them, and I have 5 main pillars to what I promote, which are obviously discover your talent, dream big, set like really big dreams, have faith, really believe in yourself, because it's very important. If you don't believe in yourself, believe me, nobody's gonna believe in you. Work smart, don't work hard, work smart. Like me, I went to Starbucks, and I knew a lot of people with money went there. And then give back. I think it's very important to also find ways to help others, I give free conferences sometimes. Obviously, I charge as well, but I'm always looking to do social projects, things where I can help and inspire others.